This is KASE 85mm f1.4, a lens that, actually means something to me. So today we're looking at the KASE 85mm f1.4, and like I said earlier already, this lens means something to me. Well, I've used a lot of 85 lenses in the past, through the film days to digital DSLR days to the mirrorless days, all right? Any one of you been following me long enough know that 45mm f1.2 Pro from Olympus is my favorite portrait lens for the Micro Four Thirds platform. Will this be the favorite on my full frame platform? Well, this is what I want to talk about today because it is a little bit different, a little bit, I would say, unusual compared to all the other 85 lenses I've used so far. When it's come to 85mm focal length, there are currently a ton of options out there. From China alone, there's probably about dozens of them, right? You know, TT Artisan, 7 Artisan, both producing 85mm f1.8. And to be quite frank, I'm not very fond with those lenses there. And also, Searay has an 85mm f1.4, which I actually personally quite like the lens, apart from the distortion side of it. If you haven't seen the review, I'm going to put a link in the descriptions. And Viltrox 85 1.4, which I haven't personally tried because they haven't made it in the Nikon Z mount. KASE does give you E and also Z mount, so which is actually good because I use it on my Nikon Z. But in terms of the lens itself, which is to me, the most important thing, it's interesting, right? I'm going to talk about in detail in just a moment because it is actually quite special. Not only is a performing lens, spoiler alerts, but the design and the features sets it apart. So as you can see that this lens is not bulky. Right, this is first things I noticed when I first received this lens. It's quite a bit more compact compared to other 85 1.4 out there, which is to me is always a plus and a bonus because I travel a lot, I take my shoots outdoor, so I walk a lot. So anything is smaller, lighter is always a bonus for me. And this is really the reasons I think this is actually quite special. And also, in terms of build quality, fantastic. This is what KASE told me is a pro level lens equivalent to the Sigma kind of level. So I think this is actually reflecting that. It's got a lot of metal bits, some plastic bit, but the plastic bit is quite high quality. The focusing ring is really smooth, very high resistance there, which I like, especially for portrait purposes if I do need to use manual override. And the aperture ring is good. It's nice. I like it clicky and it's very assertive. You can declick it with a switch. But I would say that I would like to see an auto lock once you put it into A position, but it doesn't have it. But luckily, the resistance to the aperturing is also quite high, so it's not going to be that easy to knock it out of place. So that's another good thing. There's an AM/FM switch, always a good thing. I always like it. And also 2 customizable function buttons. Again, is a bonus because not a lot of portrait lens will give you that function buttons right there. So this is actually very, very good. If you want to set it to engaging face and eye detection and switch it off, for instance, you can actually do it via one of these buttons here, which is very handy sometimes. So amazing. I like the feature of it. In terms of design, well, it is very utilitarian, very simple, clean look to it. I do like it. I like the actual text on it, all engraved, which is nice. And other things that is good. Everything is good and very high quality to touch. Weather sealing at the mount. That means this lens, it is weather sealed, so which again is good for taking this lens out for portrait, right? If you're doing outdoor, for instance. But one of the biggest feature is the magnetic front mount. Yes, there is a magnet to the front rim here. So while there is a thread for you to mount any traditional screw-in filters, you can utilize the magnets that it has to the compatible KASE filter. Remember, KASE is actually a filter company, so they have produced a magnetic filters that I also reviewed earlier on this year, which I totally love. So it's fully compatible with this, so you can actually mount it on this guy in 2 seconds, which is great, right? You just slap it on. Even the actual lens cap itself is magnetic. Brilliant, you don't have to squeeze in, clinch it and things like that. You don't have to do any of that. It's magnetic. You just basically slap it on and pull it off. I just don't know why nobody else has done it. I know we've seen magnetic filters before, but not so much about magnetic lenses. So I think the KASE is onto something right here. They want to build an ecosystem around this so they can mount all the magnet filters to the lenses. I think it's a good move. I think it really is a good move. So well done for that. When it's come to handling, I think this lens is simply amazing because it's smaller, it's more compact, but also the weight distribution. Right. Usually, you know, when you mount a very big, heavy prime lens in the front of the camera, you kind of feel a bit like front heavy, tilting forward, you got that strain on your wrist. I don't seem to feel that with this lens here, perhaps because of the slightly more compact front body here. So that means the weight distribution is more centralized when you mount it to the camera, and it means that it's good to hold for a long time. I really like the elements of it. Not many people usually talk about this, but because I shoot a lot with the 85 and I shoot a lot of portraits, I can tell you a thing or two about handling when it comes to using it for a long time, right? So this is good. I love the look, not the look, I love the look, but I love the actual handling side of this lens. So this is great professional lens. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, handling is great. Now let's talk about the image quality of this lens. Well, like I said, I'll use this lens for about 4 months now. I can show you a few or two. Let's have a look at them.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh.
Well, as you can see, it is simply stunning, right? The images look sharp, looks poppy. The general rendering is very nice. I mean, it's modern, but not clinical, which is I actually a little bit amazed. I mean, if you say to me that, you know, this is KASE, you know, thing, you know, like they've been doing this for years, I would believe that, you know, but this is actually one of the 2 lenses they've released. That's it. You know, the other one being the bubble lens, right? You know, and this is actually a very, very different lens altogether. Their first autofocus lens, and they've done a great job on it. You know, I am really surprised about the quality. If you haven't tried this, I would urge you to go to a camera store and try this if you have a chance. Because, yeah, you may be surprised as much as I am, you know. Like I said, this compares very well to native lenses. I mean, I would go as far as that, yeah. So this is really good. And for the price, because they're cheaper than the native lenses, they are even slightly cheaper than the Sigma lenses. So I actually think that this is very competitive. So overall, I would say that, you know, the image quality coming up from this lens is simply spectacular. Sharpness is really good at 1.4 already. You stop down, you get more contrast. You do have a little bit of an edge sharpness improvement, but overall, I would say that this is a great lens. Optimal, if you want to talk about optimal edge-to-edge sharpness, 5.6 to 6.3 is always the safer bet, but I would not say that 1.4 is totally unusable. In fact, 1.4 is sharp across the frame already. You can easily put the subject on the edges of the frame while it's still looking really nice and sharp. Optical corrections is another thing that KASE has surprised me, right? Distortion is almost non-existent compared to all the other Chinese lenses I've reviewed for the past few years. I found that most of them have some sort of distortion that I can't fix in post, which is sometimes, I would say, bad. KASE, on the other hand, you do notice a little bit of pincushions, but it's very easy to correct. It's not a problem whatsoever. Once you put a preset and something like that, you can easily just click a button and fix everything in about a second or 2. So that is really good. And other aspects of it, like vignetting, you know, is like very small light fall off only at 1.4. Things will go away by f2. The chromatic aberrations and Loka, again, very, very good. I've tried this on various different lighting conditions, shooting against the sun, for instance. Usually that will show me how much purple fringing I'll be getting, but this lens doesn't seem to have any in practical terms. And Loka, again, same thing. And overall, I would just say that this is actually very, very good. Flare, on the other hand, you do see some flare coming out from the lens. If you don't use the lens hood, that's why, again, I urge you to use a lens hood for this particular lens. But once you have the lens hood, you kind of mitigate most of the lens flare issues that you may encounter in a normal practical terms. But overall, I am very impressed indeed. And finally, the autofocus aspects of it, right? I'm saying I'm running out of words to describe it. Again, I am a little bit shocked to see how fast the AF motor is. It's not the fastest. Never is for 85 lens, right? It's not big enough to use some strong, heavy motors to basically make it a very speedy experience. 85 is always going to be like a medium sort of lenses, no matter which brand you're looking at. So I wouldn't say this is a ultra-fast sports lens. But for general purposes, I have no problem. In fact, it is actually better and more reliable than other 85mm lenses I've used in the past 3 years. That is good. So again, really, really impressive there. If you use it for video, for instance, it's totally usable because of the fast motor. It does track your subject and face and eye very, very well. That's another good thing. Like I said already, you can declick the aperture if you really want to use the aspects of it. However, for video, you don't really have the definitive focusing actions there. This is a focus by wire, so you're going to spin forever. It's really hard to gauge it. If you want to use follow focus module, for instance, you really don't want to use that at all. The breathing, there's a little bit of it, so yeah, just bear it in mind. And that's it. This is my long-term review of the KASE, right? KASE did send me this lens before they launch it, you know, and I did say to them that I really want to take my time about this lens because I have a lot of shoots. You know, I will be able to use it professionally and I will come back to you and give you my full detailed feedback. So I'm glad I did because now I can tell you how much I appreciated this lens rather than just saying it in a preview video just to talk about specs and things like that. So now I spent that much time with this and I can easily say that this so far, at least this year, is the best 85 I've done. You know, like I said, I haven't tried other 85-1.4 from Viltrox, for instance. I haven't tried them yet, but this so far is definitely live up to its name, live up to what KASE has told me, because they did specifically told me that this lens is really, really good. So like, but everyone would say that, right? But now I can concur what they said to me. It is really, really good. So highly recommend it if you're looking for a affordable option on an 85 professional grade 85mm 1.4 for your portrait work. This is possibly a very good option to get. So go and check it out. I'm going to put a link in the description. You can check it out, check out the prices and things like that. If you do really have a chance to get to a camera store and try this lens yourself, do it, because you will be surprised as well. So that's it, folks. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the KASE 85mm f1.4, whether you like those images or not, whether you like the overall design and build of this lens, and also whether you have tried them already. If you already have a KASE 85 1.4, I would like to hear your thoughts about your experience about this lens here, because it will be good for the whole community here to hear about what your thoughts are about this very lens right here. Anyway, thank you for watching, and give me a thumb if you like this video, and sub if you want to stay in touch with more review in the future. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon. Happy shooting. Bye for now. Peace.